ladies and gentlemen. This is Norm Mathers from Enigma Media. How y'all doing today? Today we are interviewing Monica Soe from Aseity. How you doing today, Monica?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing very well. Just slowly getting my morning started. Uh,
Yeah,
so
I feel that.
yeah. Why don't you tell us how the band got together? And yeah.
Well, it's kind of and I don't want to say it's interesting because it might not be interesting to some people, but it's kind of a weird story. So I'll start like a little bit further back, I guess, than um I guess the original date for the start date of a CED technically.
Mm-hmm.
So basically I had tried, it was I think the end of 2018. I tried to put a band together and had a different name, and I had like a few guys that wanted to join, and they were a lot younger than me, and I think that they just didn't take it seriously. So we kind of like would jam a little bit, pretty much all of like 2019. And then I ended up just splitting off from them because it's like we would just never get anything done.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like, for me, like I want this as a career, but I don't think they did. So, and it's just been like kind of a struggle trying to find band members that, take it seriously. So then in 2020, I I've been part of this group, that it's called Music Mentors Online.
Okay.
Um, it's run by David Puckett, the drummer from We Came as Romans.
Oh. Oh. Wow. Cool.
Yeah, it's really cool, and he does a really good job. He does like these webinars and stuff, and he gets um just different, I guess, more popular, famous people to talk about whatever it is, whether it's like some guitar stuff or production or
Yeah.
vocals, etc. And he does, these little like webinar, like it's pretty much like a weekend package. Well, he started a Facebook group, and so I was a part of that. And there was a post. I can't remember what the post was about. And I'm sitting here like I came up with the name, and I'm just like, all right, I don't know what to do. I was like, I can't find, because I don't play guitar. So I was like, I can't find anyone that will like help me write or anything. So basically, like I had commented, actually it was my former guitarist that commented on there.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and he commented on a post, and then my current guitarist, Rob, he actually replied to the comment. He was like, "Hey, I'll help you guys out. Like I'm good at songwriting, whatever." And so I had replied to Rob, and I was like, "Dude, that would be awesome because we are struggling so hard right now."
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so then like Rob and I kind of connected. This was probably like maybe February. Yeah, because it was like
Of
it
2019.
was of 2020.
Of 2020. Okay. Right. 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 Right.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
right. And it was before like everything like shut down.
Right.
So
Okay. This is beginning of
yeah,
COVID.
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. And so yeah, so he volunteered to like help, and then ended up, the previous guitarist, um, like I said, I don't think we really saw eye to eye on things. So
This
long
was the
story
younger guy.
short, yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. So long story short, I asked Rob if he wanted to be my guitarist, and it was honestly, it was the weirdest thing because it was like mid production of Losing Myself, the first song.
Okay.
I lost a guitarist mid production of that song and then gained another one.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was terrifying, and it was very interesting. So that's kind of how it got started. It was just kind of like this weird series of events that ended up like mid production of a song. I get Rob, and then he's like, so basically that first song, I kind of have a love hate relationship with it because like it was written by mostly me
Okay.
and I can't write. And then Rob kind of like, picked up the slack where like he wrote the chorus
Mm-hmm.
and the bridge and stuff like that. And he wrote like all the like extra guitar and stuff in there.
Yeah.
So it was a really strange way to start a band or project or whatever you want to call it. And it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay, so you had an original guitarist that started writing "Losing Myself" with you. Now, did you just abandon anything that he'd written beforehand?
pretty much the only thing we had kept was um like the very beginning like riff, I guess you could say.
Okay,
I think
cool.
that's pretty much the only thing we kept.
Yeah.
We completely got rid of the like pre-chorus. It originally it had a pre-chorus with some screaming and stuff in it, and it
Okay.
was like screaming and singing combination thing. And then it had like a really, really short chorus that was like 2 lines.
Okay.
And so we completely trashed that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a little sad about it at first because I was like, oh, I like that. But yeah, we trashed it.
No, of course. Sometimes it's for the better, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the chorus at least turned out better um this way than the original. But the verses actually are the same. The guitar isn't the same,
Okay.
just that one opening riff, but like the vocal melody and lyrics and stuff, that's the same.
Oh
We kept that.
wow,
So
that's
yeah,
really cool.
yeah,
That would be tough to write around as a guitar player, I'm sure. A little bit, anyways. Challenging.
yeah. I think it was. I think the hardest part was just the fact that like we had to get it done so fast because we had just started production on it,
Mm-hmm.
and we were working with Zach Jones, who's from a band. I don't think they're a band anymore, but it's called My Enemies and I.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was part of that band. So
And
we actually go ahead.
where's he based out of?
He was in Virginia and he's now in LA, I think.
Okay, okay. Wow, cool. Good for him.
Yeah, yeah,
So he was the one that uh helped produce the first track for you guys.
yeah.
And then how much was he involved in the writing process?
Um, I would say he basically like he's kind of the reason why Rob became the guitarist because he was like I think he wasn't a fan of what we originally had.
Okay,
And I
fair
don't
enough.
yeah, I don't blame him because thinking about it now, I'm like, yeah, that was terrible. But I think like he kind of like told Rob he was like, why don't you like help write this? Like you should play guitar. And I think that's kind of the reason why, you know, that because him and Rob, they knew each other. Like I think they had I don't know that they had grown up together per se, but I think that they just like, lived in the same area
Hmm.
and stuff, and they had like worked together previously and stuff. So,
Hmm. Cool. Let's talk about your next single that you guys released, "Silent Whispers."
dude, where to begin on that one? So what do you want to know about that one?
Just everything. I want to know the writing process and all of it.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, the writing process. So we worked with Daniel Gailey, the guitarist of Fit for a King and Phineas, on that song. Um,
That is so fucking cool. Holy shit.
yeah. Daniel, like, if I could work with Daniel again, I would. He's just so busy with those two bands right now with touring and stuff that it's like impossible. But he is literally, I freaking love Daniel. He is the sweetest guy I've ever met in my life.
And one
Um,
hell of a guitar player. Holy shit.
yeah. So we've had lots of FaceTimes with him and stuff. And it was funny actually. I'm gonna like sidetrack for a second.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, we went to Blue Ridge Rock Fest.
Okay.
Rob was he was filling in for a band, and so like we were, we had like the backstage like artist
Hmm.
wristbands and stuff,
Yep.
and so So my favorite band is We Came as Romans.
Okay.
And I got to watch them backstage for the first
Oh.
time. Like I got to sit backstage and watch We Came as Romans. And Daniel Gailey was there, and so was Tuck. And I remember like Daniel, this just shows like what kind of person he is. So we're up on this platform like backstage, and so like there's stairs that go up.
Hmm.
And so me and Rob are just standing there, and I'm talking to like the security lady, and Daniel comes up the stairs and he goes, "Guys, oh my gosh." And he just like gave us the biggest hugs ever. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, Daniel, you're like the nicest guy." So that was pretty awesome.
Totally. Like for especially lots of people would have just written you guys off and walked right by. Like that's pretty good to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, "Oh, Daniel, you actually like are excited to see us, and we're nobodies right now." So
Hey, he worked with you
so
guys, right? He's got a good relationship and stuff like that. So
oh yeah, especially with how much I bug him. So I was like, "Daniel, what's up? Daniel, Daniel." But
listen to
he's
me,
great.
Daniel.
He's
Listen
great.
to me.
Yeah. No, he's great. He's phenomenal. I like I said, I'd love to work with him again. But anyway, back to your original question. So Rob actually, the funny thing about that song was Rob wrote that song in a day.
Hmm.
He sent like all the instrumentals and stuff.
Yeah.
He sent it to Daniel. Daniel was like, "Dude, this is awesome. I love this." I think he only made like one little suggestion, like it was like add a transition here or something like that.
Okay. Cool.
um yeah, so it was like super easy. But then but then they get the track to me, and I'm like, I don't know what to write over this. I was struggling so hard because like I've this is my first project, so like I've never written clean vocals over metal before, because
Hmm.
Losing Myself was not anything like that.
Hmm.
Losing Myself was like I wrote the vocal melodies, then we had guitar to go with it. This was opposite. So it took me like, and I felt so bad for Daniel because, and I kept texting him or FaceTiming him, and I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry. I'm struggling so hard with this song. It took me almost 2 months to write the vocal melodies and lyrics to
Hmm.
it. Almost 2 months.
It happens. It totally
Uh,
happens. It's even
yeah,
it's even worse if you struggle to do something like that and then you take it to your band or your producer or something and they're just like, I'm not digging this, and you're like, cool. I'll just go back to the
yeah,
drawing board now.
yeah. And that's actually what happened the first time too. I think after like a month, I wrote something, and they were like, well, I think it was mostly Rob was like, I don't know about that. This is kind of not not good." So I kind of kept the same lyrics almost that I had before,
Hmm.
but I changed the vocal melody, and then we got Taylor Barber on it, and I basically told him, I was like, "Look, Taylor, I was like, I don't want you to just scream in like one section. I want this to be more of like a collab kind of feel."
Hmm.
And I was like, basically, I was like, just go crazy on it. This is what it's about. Like, go crazy on it. Scream wherever like there's areas that you want to scream.
Hmm.
Do your thing. And he absolutely killed it. So
Yeah, absolutely. I will have to agree with you there.
yeah,
Do you
yeah.
do any
Taylor's great.
do you do any of the screaming?
No, I don't. I never learned,
Okay,
and yeah,
it's tough.
yeah, especially for women. Apparently, based on like I've read up about it,
Hmm.
because I'm like, oh well, maybe I should learn how to scream. That way, I don't have to get other people to do it.
Hmm.
Whatever. And I kind of read up on it, and it was like women after the age of, I want to say, 25, since our vocal cords are like thinner, like they're weaker than men's. You're not really supposed to start learning how to scream after that age,
Oh,
because you can damage your vocal cords.
of
So
course. Yeah, if you're not super careful with it.
yeah.
Yeah. No, fair
So
enough.
I'm 30, so I'm like I missed the mark.
I think you still could.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'll
I
I'll
might
I'll
try
send
it sometime.
I'll send you the guy that I learned from, and
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Because I was like, there's no way. Like I've tried before, it hurts my throat and everything, and then I just like kind of stuck to what he taught, and then just kept doing it and doing it and doing it, and it feels weird. It feels so weird at the beginning, but then eventually you get the feel for it, where it is, where it's kind of the scream sits in your throat, and you
Hmm.
got it.
Huh.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, definitely send me that because I'm interested. I don't know if I'll do it. I might be too chicken, but we'll see.
fair enough. That's totally fair. All right, let's talk about your next single, um, Insanity.
Okay.
Um,
Insanity.
yeah, it's such a good track. Holy crap!
Thank
I
you.
had the fortune of listening to it a gajillion times when I was writing the review for it. So yeah, it's so good. Holy shit. So yeah, how did this song start?
Oh man. Let me see if I can remember because it was crazy. That one was definitely not one that was written in a day.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
the lyrics I actually did write them pretty quickly. But I think on the guitar, I think Rob kind of struggled with it because it is different, and um, I think it took him. I remember whenever he was tracking it,
Hmm.
he was in the studio for like a week straight. He was in the studio up like all night basically, just trying to get the tracks to sound good for the final.
Hmm.
um I can't remember exactly what we did with that one. I remember we like changed some stuff with the arrangement and stuff, and I was like, okay, I want three choruses in this song. um but as far as like writing the vocals and stuff,
Right.
so I wrote the piano, and I want to say I wrote the piano first and
Okay.
then the vocals. Yeah. Yeah, cuz I wrote the piano like while Rob was like, getting the song written and like structured and everything.
Hmm.
And then I wrote piano over it cuz I was like, "Ooh, I really want to like do this cuz I haven't done it yet." And then our producer for that song is Brandon Hart.
Okay.
He's actually a producer in South Carolina.
Oh,
He
cool.
is so good. Like when I heard his production, I was like, all right, I want him for this song. Um, he's into like Hans Zimmer type like
Oh,
orchestration and stuff too.
yeah.
So that made it really cool. Yeah.
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 So I
I
had
mean,
the
you can
piano in
tell.
there.
Sorry.
We Oh no, go ahead. I think I'm lagging.
Just a hair. But yeah. You can tell how many different layers and stuff are in that song. It sounds totally amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
No worries.
it was crazy. So literally I like I wrote the vocals, and we actually didn't have a guest feature on it at first.
Okay.
And so I wrote the vocals, and then we had like that little like dissonant type part with the guitar where it's like going crazy kind of. Um and we almost didn't keep that in there. And I told Rob, I was like, "No, we have to keep that in there. That makes the song really like interesting, you
Hmm.
know?" And I'm friends with Orion Stevens from In Dying Arms,
Okay.
and so I texted him and I was like, "Hey, listen to this song. Like, do you vibe this? How do you feel about this?" And he was like, "Dude, this is legit. Like, this is awesome." I was like, "You want to, you know, scream and sing with me on it?" And he was like, "Yeah." So, so that's how I got Orion on it. And
Damn. So cool.
um and I made him sing, yeah. And I made him sing with me on the chorus. So he sings with me on the chorus and he sings with me on the bridge.
Hmm.
and the part where it like comes in. Yeah. So I got him to sing with me on that, and it was like it just came together so well. And there's actually a secret ending to it that
Ooh.
we're going to release with the EP or album or whatever. It's like a minute long ending that Brandon just like went ham on. So
Oh, sweet.
yeah.
That's so wicked. Oh, and I love all the updates that you guys have been doing on Facebook and stuff, showing the behind the scenes of the video and all that. It's so cool.
Thank you. Yeah, that video.
Hmm. I hear ya.
Yeah, that video was very interesting to film.
Yeah,
It
me too.
was it was odd.
Okay, so uh who were some bands that you listened to when you were growing up?
Oh man. So this is gonna really like show my age, but so obviously, Evanescence, she's Amy Lee's like a huge influence for me.
Hmm.
We Came as Romans, um, 30 Seconds to Mars,
Cool.
um, From First to Last, Attack Attack, um, who else? I listened to A Skylit Drive, um, let's see, Sky Eats Airplane, uh, pretty much any like old like emo band you can think of, I probably listened to it.
Yeah. Um sorry, there's just a bit of a lag and I don't know when you're going to finish your questions. I apologize. Okay, so uh and now what does Rob use to influence, and then how do you guys bring both of your influences into the writing?
That's a good question. So Rob, um, oh, I can't think of the name of the band that, gosh, I'm forgetting. Um, he pretty much listens to everything that you can think of that's metal with like some kind of insane guitar riffs. Um, and I'm blanking on the names of the bands for some reason.
Hmm.
Veil of Maya is a big one though.
Okay, okay, cool.
Um, yeah, and I'm actually like pretty like vocally, I guess, influenced by Veil of Maya.
Hmm.
Um, so it's kind of difficult because like he's never written anything like this before. So he tells me all the time, he's like, man, this is so tough because I've got to like write something you can actually sing over, but it's still metal and it's still like crazy riffs going on, but not like too crazy where it's like, oh, this requires screaming. So it's really hard. I know I couldn't do it.
Hmm.
Even if I could play guitar, I probably couldn't do it. But so it's kind of like we just kind of take, I guess, pieces of things. So like I'll listen to a lot of, I don't want to say pop music because it's not really, I don't really know. I suck at knowing genre names. So, but like I'll listen to like Ellie Goulding, or there's this like, I don't know what genre it is. It's like EDM almost, but
Okay.
pop EDM, like Zed. I don't know if you know who that is.
Zed's dead?
No, it's just called Zed,
Okay.
and he did a song with Haley Williams.
Oh, cool.
Um, yeah, so he does like kind of like electronic, but it's got like catchy choruses, verses,
Hmm.
and stuff. So I'll listen to like weird things like that, and then I'll listen to Utada Hikaru, which if you've ever played the game Kingdom Hearts, she's the one that did the theme songs for those games.
Okay, cool. I haven't
Yeah.
tried them out, but
Okay, you have to. They're so good.
okay.
But yeah. So it's kind of like we're just kind of like mashing the like genres and styles together. it's odd. We listen to a lot of Eminence because they're a really good example of that.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah.
I just downloaded one of their songs like a couple weeks ago. I can't even remember the name of it right now, but I'll try looking at more of their stuff.
Yeah, they're really good. I love that band so much.
So, you guys are working towards an EP right now.
hmm
Um, is it going to include the three previous tracks that you guys have already released?
No, so it's gonna have the full version of Insanity.
Cool.
Which when you listen to Insanity on Spotify, there's no piano intro. Um, on this one, it's gonna have that piano intro that's in the music video, and then it's gonna have that ending part.
Oh, beautiful.
Um, yeah, so that's the only one that's gonna be on there.
Okay, cool. And so what is the are you guys going for a new style for the new songs? How many songs are going to be on the EP?
Well, as of now, we're gonna have six with like a seventh like song like interlude.
Okay.
Um, but who knows? Like we might end up doing more and turning it into a full album, and then just like maybe releasing like I don't know, like do like what Sleep Token did, where we release like a song. Maybe not a song per month, but something. I'm not really sure yet.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't fully decided exactly what we want to do. I just know that I want a lot of like elements in the music that metal typically doesn't have. So like Insanity kind of starts it out with like the piano.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to give away like too much because I don't want to be
Nah,
like,
I hear
oh,
you.
there's gonna be all these instruments and then they're not gonna be in there, and then you guys are gonna be like, oh,
Monica lied.
yeah.
Oh, cool. I like it. How do you guys find navigating social media and stuff like that?
Oh my gosh. So I'm actually super, super introverted. Um, so like even doing
Samesies.
interviews, yeah. So even doing interviews like just makes me nervous. But so
Samesies.
I oh, thank goodness you get it. You get it.
My hands are so sweaty right now.
But yet you do this with people. What the heck?
Sometimes you just got to make yourself uncomfortable, you know?
Yeah, true. I'm trying to. I'm so Rob gets on to me all the time about like posting and like making content and stuff, and like he's like you got to make TikTok videos and all this stuff, and I'm like dude, I'm barely even on my phone. Like I don't want to I'm just like I don't want to do this. So it's a struggle because like, and it's my fault. Like I don't make any content. So, um
Hey,
so for
it's
him
it's a
it's
two-way street. He can create content too, right? Like behind the scenes, especially if he's the one doing recording and stuff like that. I mean, it's what we've been putting up
yeah.
recently, just trying to kind of stay relevant in social media and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really especially for like someone like me, like honestly, I wouldn't even have a Facebook if it wasn't for my friend back I think it was like in 2007. It was like when Facebook first started.
Hmm.
And my friend forced me to get a Facebook account because she was like, you have to have one so that we can interact on it. And I'm like, okay.
It happened to
So
me
if it
too.
wasn't, dude, if it wasn't for her, I would not have one.
Your life could have been so much different, Monica.
I know. I probably would have been more successful if I had never made social media
Fuck you, Mark Zuckerberg.
pretty much. Yep. uh,
Okay, so what are your guys's kind of like short term to medium term goals right now? What do you guys want to do in like the next 1 to 2 years, and what do you guys want to do in like 2 to 5 years?
Oh man. So I think the main goal is to get the EP slash album, whatever it's going to be, like get that. We're working on it, but it's hard because, like I said, like with the struggle with writing metal for clean vocals,
Mm-hmm.
um, that's making it really difficult. But we've got, I think, 3 songs, I want to say, that we're
Mm-hmm.
kind of like working on. One of them, if we keep this one, it's kind of got a ginger-esque vibe to
Ooh.
it.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, if we keep it, I don't know. I mean, like I would like to keep it because I love it. But um yeah, I think it's gonna be that's gonna be like our main focus right now. And then as far as long term goes, long term, I would like to eventually, play shows and because we don't plan on playing any shows for a couple of years because we want to like really build our fan base first, and then once we get the demand, then we'll play, and that could be in 4 or 5 years. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The market. I feel like there's so much music out now that it's just really difficult to get some like a solid fan base, and that's kind of what we're struggling with. So we're trying to learn how to do that. We're trying to so I think like that's kind of our short-term goals now is like write the EP or album, get a strong fan base, try to get some merch sales because our merch sales are like non-existent right now. um and then from there, long term would be like play shows, um probably write more albums, stuff like that. So
Cool. um, yeah. Oh, I was gonna make a comment on something you said there, but it escaped me.
I don't know.
Um, oh dang. I'll try to remember it. Okay.
Okay.
What kind of hobbies do you have outside of music?
So I pretty much do a lot of random things. I do graphic design.
Oh, cool.
And I've just started I've been doing graphic design for a long time, but not really for people,
Okay.
not, just for myself pretty much. So I do all of Aseity graphics and stuff. I do like I built the website, stuff like that.
Cool.
I don't build websites for people though, because it is a huge pain in the butt, and I don't want to do it. It's like I would have to charge someone so much money to build them a website because of how long it takes,
Mm-hmm.
that it's just I just don't want to. I don't want to be like, all right, that's going to be like $1,500 for my entire week of, you know. Um but yeah, so I do graphic design, I play video games, I do makeup, and I'm pretty good at like makeup and skincare stuff. So, and then just any other random thing. I'd like to get into photography because I've always kind of liked that. Um, yeah, pretty much anything like artsy is what I do.
Awesome. And you play video games? Do you game a
Yeah,
lot? Sweet. So
yeah, I play Warzone because I'm cheap
yep.
and it's free.
Cool.
And pretty much like all of like the newer Assassin's Creed games.
Okay.
Those I've Yeah, like Valhalla and Origins and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are so good. Those are really good.
Yeah. I played Assassin's Creed 1 and 2 like back for PlayStation 3 or something like that. And I freaking loved the series, but I found it so repetitive back then. I don't know if they've changed the game dynamics and stuff like that, but back in the
Yeah.
day, it was so repetitive over and over. It was just like do the same three things, bring your bring your message back to the monarch or whatever, and then he sends you out to do your next three missions, and then you're back. And yeah.
Yeah, these are more like very much they're like open world, but there's also a storyline.
Cool.
And yeah, and they also have like multiple storylines. Like there's like I want to say two or three, depending on the game, main storylines, and then everything else is like open world. So you can do. It's pretty much like oh, what's that game? I don't want to say it's like WoW,
Okay.
but it almost is in a sense where it's not an MMO RPG, it's just an RPG, but they've got like you've got your side quests, you've got like your big open world, you've got your main quests, you've got um like little Easter egg things that you can do. Like in Origins, there's actually this location that you can find and you solve a puzzle and then like a cutscene happens and it gives you a Final Fantasy sword. It's
Oh,
really cool.
what?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
O-
It's they're really good. They're really good.
Okay. What console do you use?
I still have a PS4.
Sweet. Yeah. Same here.
Okay.
Yeah. PS5s are a little too rich for my blood right now. You know.
Yeah, and I just you know, if I got a PS5, like it's like not like okay, let's just say that they're not expensive, right?
Hmm.
It's like you then have to change, you have to repurchase all your games again. You know, you've got to move all of this stuff over and it's just like not worth it. You know,
Yeah.
I don't have time for that.
Fair enough. Time is money. You know.
Yeah.
So, did you play piano in high school, or is this something that you've learned in your adult life, or?
So, I actually learned when I was 10 and then in high school I played clarinet in band.
Cool. Yeah.
I'm laughing because I absolutely hate clarinet, but um, literally, like, I got forced to play it because I tried out for flute, and they were like, "No, you're not good enough to play flute, so you're gonna play clarinet."
Ouch.
I know. I was like, rude.
Yeah. Well, I'm playing my clarinet like this motherfucker, so whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, I learned piano when I was 10. So I'm like super rusty at it because I never like I never, I guess, I don't know why, but I love playing. I love it. And it's like, there's nothing better than sitting down and just doodling around on piano. And it just feels so good. But I don't know. I haven't, I'm not that good at it just because like I'm so rusty because, you know, 20 years ago is when I learned. So
Right. Yeah. That's tough to keep up after 20 years, right?
yeah,
You'd be lucky if you remembered chopsticks after 20 years, you know?
I actually do remember that one. Out of all of them, that's the one.
So it's just you and Rob in the band right now. How do you guys get all of the other instruments into the song?
Well, Rob just writes them. I mean, pretty much. I think he uses oh, what drum program does he use? I think he uses like the I don't know if he uses Get Good drums. He might. I'm not sure. Um I my brain's not working today.
No, no worries, no worries. I'm kind of putting you on the spot with these random questions, you know?
Right. Yeah, like so he just uses that and then you know, whatever, you know, he'll just map it out and then like our whoever our producer is, so like right now it's Brandon, you
Hmm.
know, Brandon will um change it however it fits the song. On Silent Whispers, we actually had a friend write drums to that.
Oh,
His name is Shane Smith. He's in a band. He's got two bands. He's got Adeline. I'm probably butchering that name. And then he's the drummer in Fractured Frames, which
okay,
is like a local band here.
okay.
Um, so yeah, so we had our friend do that. Dude's like one of my best friends. He's a really good guy. He wrote the drums for that song. But Insanity and Losing Myself was a mixture of Rob and then the producers.
Okay.
And then Rob writes guitar, bass, and then um and then I write whatever else, like piano or whatever.
Cool. The sweet thing, I mean, I guess you can do it with kind of any instrument, but like if you had a MIDI keyboard, you could literally put any instrument with keyboard in, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as long as you get like the plugins or whatever, like you
Hmm.
could do, you know, like cello or violin, you could do
Totally.
synth, you can do anything. So that's kind of what we do. We just MIDI everything.
Cool. No, I like that.
Yeah.
Um, so I actually remember what I was gonna say when you had that one spiel you went on about kind of future goals and plans and stuff like that. I noticed that you guys have an incredible reception to your songs on Spotify already.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of crazy. I think it was, well, I'll start with losing myself. Losing myself, I mean, we've done marketing for all of them.
Hmm.
And it's interesting. Losing myself did really well. Silent Whispers did okay, and I think the reason it didn't do as well as Losing Myself was just because it's completely different. It's not really metalcore. It's more like, because Taylor's like, deathcore vocalist. So I think the audience on that was just completely different, so it didn't do as well, but it still did pretty good. And
Hmm.
then Insanity, oh my gosh, that one, I don't know what it is about that song. I don't know. I don't know if it's the layering in it, with the like synth and stuff.
Hmm.
I don't know what it is about that song, but that thing got like, so Losing Myself and Silent Whispers, they're at, I think, under 20,000 each
Hmm.
for plays, and then Insanity is like over 50,000
I
now.
know. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, and I mean, and they're all real people. Like it's not, they're not bots or anything. Like, how people have that debate where it's like, oh, they're just paid for plays, da da da. It's not real people, whatever. Those are all real people that have listened to that song. So it kind of blows my mind, how like dramatic the like the numbers are
Hmm.
between those.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like, especially in metal, like you can be super successful in metal and have a bunch of tracks that don't even have like a million listens, right? So I think you guys are
Mhm.
going to be planning that tour much sooner than you think.
I hope so. I hope so. I'm like, I as introverted as I am, there's like, and like I've sang on stage before, obviously not my own music, but there's like, that's like the best feeling is to sing on stage and like get into the song, and like your audience like gets into it with you and stuff, and it's like I love it. And so for me, it's like I'm just so anxious. I want to sing my own music, for the first time.
Hmm.
Like I'm gonna be so nervous, like, but it's gonna feel so good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think you guys are doing it a really smart way. Like, if you kind of wait for there to be demand for you guys, then at least it makes whatever tour that you guys want to do or go on that much more successful because you guys will already have a somewhat of a backing, and then there's going to be demand for not just your music, but for whatever merchandise you guys have and all that. So that's kind of low key brilliant, you know?
Thanks. Thanks. That's kind of like the goal with it, is like get as popular as we can online, and then that way we do have a demand. Because like, um I just, like, I think it would just be cool to like have show promoters and stuff like come up to me and be like, hey, like we'll pay you this amount, like if you want to hop on this tour or show or whatever. And it's like, yeah, like, let's do it, because now we have the people to show up for it.
Mm-hmm. And like, I mean, you've already made some really good connections, so like just putting out the feelers for Aseity opening for Phineas or opening for Fit for a King or something like that. That'd be so cool. Even if it was just
Oh
for
yeah.
like a month or something, right? During their tour or something
Mhm.
like that. So cool.
I know. I know. It would be, and like, oh, I would love to play with Fit for King or Phineas or We Came as Romans.
Mhm.
Like it would be so so awesome. Or Era. I think Era would be another good one that we would fit with.
That's another band that I just heard of recently as well, Era.
Yeah, they're really good.
I can't think of any of their songs right now, but I'll check into them. So just before we get wrapped up here, something that we ask all of the artists and bands that we feature is, if you had to change one thing in the music industry today, what would you change?
Oh my gosh. If I had to change one thing, that's tough because like personally I haven't been in the industry that long.
Hmm.
Um I don't know. I don't know. Huh.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Like we're like so I was in a cover band that started in like 2015 or 16 or something like that, maybe 2017. And then I was playing all these weekend bar shows and gigs and stuff like that, and it felt like I was just like selling my soul to the devil every every weekend to make money playing music and stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm making money as a musician. This is great. But then I
Mm,
was like, no, I need something more real. So started in a metal band and writing and everything. And now I've just kind of adapted to where the industry's at, where the market's at right now already, right? Like obviously
mhm.
there's some huge holes in how musicians get paid and stuff like that from Spotify and any of the streaming platforms. But yeah, it's tough, right? Like if you're just kind of growing up in
Yeah.
it, then it's like, well, this is just what it is, right? I don't know what it was like 10 years ago, and I don't know what it's going to be like in 10 years from now. So all we can really do is
Mhm.
just adapt to what it is now.
Yeah, I think like one thing that I would say is that I've noticed recently is like I feel like they people should be more like receptive to, and this is very specific, but I feel like they should be more receptive to like female vocals in metal that don't scream, because I've noticed actually that most of our fans are like in Europe,
Mm.
because you know like most of the female fronted metal bands that are popular are from Europe, like Ginger, um, you know, a lot of the other like the ones that have been around for a while, and I feel like Europe is more like, for example, our if I go and look at my Spotify analytics, it's like our top two countries are the United States and Germany.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and Germany is like up there, you know, pretty from what I remember, the numbers are pretty close to America. So, I find that interesting. You know, I think that's something I don't know that I would that's not necessarily something in the industry I would change, but that's something like I wish people were more receptive to that kind of thing. I think it's kind of getting there, but yeah, I'd like to see at least at least Americans like latch on to female vocalists more.
Hmm.
Because there's not very many of us, and I feel like, you know, if there were more like, oh yeah, like this is so good, instead of just like don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with screams and like super heavy music. Like love it, right?
Hmm.
But there's just so much of it that it's gotten like really oversaturated, I want to say.
Hmm.
Not that that's a bad thing, like not saying that in a negative way, just I just think that, you know, people just need to be more accepting of female vocals in that. um but then like as far as the industry goes, I think I would change some, like the streams, like the amount of money that you get.
Hmm.
I think out of all of our songs, I think so far we've only made like maybe $80 or something off of streams.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And
So I
like,
definitely would change that.
yeah, you guys are pushing like 100,000 overall streams. Like, it should be worth something, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you'd think.
at the same time, then I think it would just be, it would the problem would just be incremental, right? Like, the pop stars would
Mhm.
still be gajillionaires because they got billions of listens on their tracks and stuff like that, and it would just help the lowlings like us, I don't know, make a little bit more money, right? But I don't know if it would actually
Right.
change anything, right?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I feel like in one way it could help us, with all the money we put for like marketing and stuff, it could help us like have a little bit of like ROI there maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Um because I feel like more people listen to the music than they buy stuff from the bands. Except for like the people that are like super into that band, then they'll like buy merch or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like even myself, like I don't buy that much band merch just because like I just simply there's a few reasons. Like one, I don't want to have only t-shirts. Two, that stuff's expensive, and I don't have money for like all of that. Um but like I'll like listen to an album or something on repeat all the time, and it's like, if they got if artists got paid more, then it's like the people that are like me that don't buy merch but they'll listen to the music all day,
Mm-hmm.
it's like they're at least getting some money back from that fan.
Hey, that's a really good thought. Wow, I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I was like top like 5% for some of the bands that I listened to. So I never really thought that that's kind of how you're contributing to them. And that would be so much more for rising artists if we could get, I don't know, whatever, a penny a stream instead of like 4/100th of a penny or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've spent I mean, by now we've spent probably thousands of dollars on marketing, and just to make $80 back from that, it's kind of like, how are we going to like afford to pay for the EP? Because the EP is going to be like almost 5 grand,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like, where it's like, it's just like, I don't know if you've ever owned a Jeep before, but they always say Jeeps are money pits, and I used to own one, and I
Mm-hmm.
know that they are money pits. You like put all of these upgrades into it, like you put a lift on it, you get these tires, you like got to do stuff with your sway, like you got to get disconnects for your sway bars, like you got to do all this stuff so you can like climb a little rock or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
um so it's kind of like the same thing with music right now. It's like it's a money pit just like a Jeep. Like you're like, oh, I'm gonna like, buy this advertisement to like get people to listen to me, just so I can get like 1,000 more listeners or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, I'm just gonna climb over that little rock, but I need this, and this upgrade in order to do so. But that rock is not paying me back.
Yeah, it's just getting you to and from work or whatever for the time being.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of a sad analogy to think about, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I actually literally just thought of that on the spot.
It was a good one. It was really good. I like it. All right. Is there anything you want to say to the fans before we wrap up?
Well, for anybody watching, like, thank you so much for watching. You know, like I really, really appreciate you guys. Even if you can't afford the merch, just stream the songs like crazy. That means like so much to me because, like I just said, music's a money pit. And in order for me to make more music, I need more money. So like just all the support that like I've gotten from you guys so far just is awesome. Like the fact that I have almost 100,000 streams on Spotify, even like that's ridiculous. So thank you guys so much.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for tuning in. This is Monica from Aseity. I'm Norm Mathers from Enigma Media. Don't forget to buy Monica's shit from Aseity. And everyone have a nice day. Thank you. Bye bye.